We, I think, started up somewhere around mid 2011. That's when we started out. We actually didn't start out at a warehousing company. We are essentially, me and Akash both come from a hardware background and built humanoid robots and that kind of stuff in college. Basically had fun taking part in these kung fu competitions and stuff like that. Post that, when it came time to graduate, we were basically looking for something which could probably give us the same amount of adrenaline and thrill rather than, go to a corporate job, which I'm not sure what it is because we've never done a corporate job. Our pick of industry and robotics in what you're saying has always been to look at a application where it's a disruptively important thing for the client. The first ones at GreyOrange, the ones that we first started out with were actually sorters with sort out packets based on courier destination, etc. So what we saw was we started seeing that a lot of people are having into a problem where they have to actually quickly sort out.
We have a very common architecture for all our products, whether it is a sortation system or a butler system. The technology and I would say the core platform is very common, right? So starting from the way we do designing and the way we do manufacturing and even the electronics and embedded part of it's all built on a common platform, so that when we scale up with products or even go with multiple products, still the core part of it remains same. So process starts with designing the product, and then it comes to the mechanical team for designing the structure of it and making how it will look and things like that. Then it goes to electronics team to design the electronics for it, and then finally goes to a firmware team who programs it, right? But most of our products are a very good mix of hardware and software. Whether you take an example of butler system where the hardware part are butlers, but then server kind of plays a very, very important role in getting the maximum efficiencies from these butlers in a warehouse. Similarly, when you look at sortation systems, the machine, the efficiency of the machine is a hell lot improved by the software, right? So both the parts play equally important role.
We are very strong believers, Akash and I, in making sure that we are not doing something which is for the sake of selling something, right? So, I mean, I read somewhere where calling it that, you have to be in the business of selling antibiotics and not selling vitamins, right? Our focus is omni-channel retail. We call our industry as open case picking. So we do, we do clients like L'Oreal for their stores. We do even clients which do offline retail only. Then we do, of course, the e-commerce clients. Then we're also getting into brands which do multi-channel distribute. So they do e-commerce, retail and that. It's a pretty now fair mix of this thing. I think GreyOrange in the 5 or 10 year, I mean, we're a pretty long-term company thought. Our thought is that we essentially want to become an industrial product brand and with, global presence to have. So we're just starting to expand that out. What we want to build is an industrial brand that people can trust. And then we have a whole bunch of products and product lines under that brand, which might be, spanning from warehousing to industrial automation to, let's say, store automation. I mean, it doesn't really matter where it will be. The only thing we'll want to strive for is that these are high quality, premium, trustable products that people can actually depend their businesses on. That's, I think, the idea.
I think we have our core dream list where we want to reach. And we have been very, very aggressive in terms of what we want to kind of have in every release, and we have been pushing very hard to get in the latest tech which we can get into a more reliable form into our robots. So for example, the batteries that we now use is the battery that's used in Tesla as well. So we have, although it's pretty tough to kind of maintain them and make them very reliable, but I think we have always been pushing hard to get a tech and make sure that it comes in our product with full reliability. in my family, pretty much nobody was into business, so it was not that obvious to them. And and I started back when I was in second year, end of second year in the college. So obviously you don't really have a lot of credibility as well that you got to start. So pretty much everybody in the family either is in government. First thought was tough to kind of do. But the good thing, at least for me, was I was in second year of the college, so everybody was like, okay, just try it for 2-3 years, and because you already are just managing it with whatever you are doing in college. Overall, after they have accepted that thought once, everything was good. They were very supportive.
Throughout our college days, we represented India in about 13-14 countries, and as a result, we spent more than 50% of our time outside India. So post that, there was just two factors. One, we wanted to do something in hardware and something that we like doing, and secondly, we wanted to do it in India. So we started GreyOrange, and that's where we happened to come across warehousing as an industry, and e-commerce was starting to boom at that time, and warehousing traditionally in India has not been of scale. So thanks to one, our tax environment, how it is, and also the way e-commerce was coming up, and omni-channel warehousing is very fragmented, and that's why these were very new problems that were coming about. That's when we sat down and basically said, let's look at warehousing globally, does it happen and what it is. And what we learned was quite interesting, that where this whole industry is pretty nascent. It's about 10-15 years old, and that's when we decided to get into automation of products for the warehousing industry. So I think we started out by doing our own, whatever savings we had out of our internships and that kind of stuff. We started that out, but majorly it was funded out by a set of angel investors and private equity people who put in capital into the company through 1 or 2 rounds. And they've primarily funded the company, where we've basically not gotten capital into the company, but we've basically gotten the operational experience and the R&D experience into the company. We are funded by a couple of the big investors like Bloom Ventures and Tiger Global, who are there, apart from I would say key advisors and angel investors who've also believed in our story so far.
What we liked about it was centered around IP. They had a mix of not just hardware and software, but they had elements of mechanical engineering, and it was really an integrated mix of skills. And with IP, it becomes more defensible. So what we liked is that there was a real base of IP around which they were building applications. That was one. So if you look at the team, I think here there was a very strong matching and mapping of the domain expertise against the idea. It wasn't just a bunch of engineers or MBAs going after this. I mean, they by the sort of young tender age of 26 and 23 respectively, they'd already been in the robotics space for about 10 years. They've been doing this for a long time. So there was a very deep mapping of domain expertise. Second, I think, was the sort of ambition, to go global. I mean, here everybody wants to take baby steps, but the fact that they were able to go after markets in Hong Kong and Singapore and on a pan-India basis, not just focus on Gurgaon, I think we like that. So we like that the ambition and the ability to scale.
As an entrepreneur, you got to do things, right? You don't have any options, so then you figure out some ways. But I think initially we had taken some really risky moves. One of them was whatever savings I and Samay had after running company for 2-3 months, we have put in all of it in one CNC machine. So when you start, I think buying a machine for 35 lakhs is a huge amount of money, and I remember pretty much emptied our accounts just to buy that, because that was really necessary to do prototyping. Now we have gone to a very good situation because we have stabilized with 2 products, but initially it was a very, very tough thing to handle, where you have a small team and you're still trying to manage 2 products. So, making sure how quality of each product is good, and with a smaller team. Calculated risks were taken. Few of them failed, few of them went through. We always were very kind of confident of sticking to the plan that, okay, these are the 2 products, let's work as much as possible to get to the point where we can expose them to the market, and then go ahead with that.
superhero.